Welcome back to another video on the channel. The final of the men's 2021 Australian Open is set. Novak Djokovic against Daniil Medvedev. So Djokovic, the world number one, 17-time Grand Slam champion, 8-time champion in Australian Open, has never lost a final in Melbourne. Daniil Medvedev is on a 20-match winning streak, 12-0 against top 10 players in recent history, and just playing the tennis of his life. This is the final that many people predicted at the start of this tournament, and it will be a brilliant physical battle on Sunday that I can't wait to watch unfold. I think there'll be many momentum switches, both players will win sets, both players will have ups and downs throughout the match, but it'll be down to whoever can hold the nerve and produce the best tennis in the biggest moments. So now I'm going to do my best to preview and predict the final. Looking back on both semi-finals, first off, Novak Djokovic came through 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 against Aslan Karatsev. Djokovic was obviously a huge favourite going into this one, with Karatsev being ranked 114th in the world. He had a fantastic tournament, and I thought he'd done pretty well on the other day against Djokovic in this semi-final, when you consider the difference in experience and quality overall. Djokovic had 17 winners, 30 winners. He did have a slight blip in the second set, but he regrouped, and the match was as good as done when Djokovic closed out the second. I think it was a pretty comprehensive performance from Djokovic. He did what he had to do. He was pretty much error-free through the first two sets, playing very good, aggressive, solid tennis, and got the job done against an opponent that he really shouldn't struggle against. Daniil Medvedev against Tsitsipas was a lot easier than I certainly expected. Medvedev's a player that just gets consistent depth. You know, he barely makes an unforced error, and then he can explode with a shot to a vacant area and hit a clean winner. He mixes it up between attack and defence very well. He keeps the opponents guessing. He's got a fantastic first serve. I think Tsitsipas's chance of winning this match that I mentioned in my prediction video, that he had to get the big serve in, attack with the forehand and try to attack the net and keep points short. I thought he'd done that pretty well early on, but Medvedev started to read the serve, push him back in the court, extend the rallies, and that's when Medvedev seemed to really take control of the match. It's very difficult to break the serve of Medvedev because he's got a fast service motion, and as I say, just when he's allowed to dictate the points and play them on his terms, then it's incredibly difficult to stop him. Against Medvedev, as I say, you always have to hit the perfect ball, otherwise he seems to return with interest. But one thing I did pick up on today, I think Tsitsipas made a lot of errors in the backhand corner, whereas Djokovic is one of the best in the world defending from the backhand side, so it'll be interesting to see Medvedev switch up his tactics and perhaps go to the Djokovic forehand, which hasn't been as quite good this tournament. Medvedev very rarely plays a poor game, and Tsitsipas did once in the opening set. As I say, difficult to break, and once Medvedev got the breaks in those first and second sets, they were pretty much over. The best return game of the tournament came at 4-2 in the second. Medvedev played two cross-court backhands and forehand winners, and yeah, just an unbelievable level that Medvedev was bringing to the court at that time. The third set, Medvedev did lead 3-1, had two break points, and the match looked all but over in my opinion. But was a little bit like the Medvedev against Krajinovic, where he lost his way and allowed Tsitsipas back in this occasion. And he just seems to unravel and beat himself up a bit when things go wrong, which is a slight worry for the final in my opinion. It will be very tight, and Djokovic will pile the pressure on the Medvedev serve with the returns that he's got. So it'll be interesting to see how Medvedev does when he's under pressure against Djokovic in a final. But Medvedev did manage to get back on track in that third. He played a shot of the tournament, in my opinion, to break for 6-5 and closed it out to win in straight sets, which is massively important to conserve as much stamina as possible for the final. So now we're just looking at how both players can win this final and the tactics I think they might adopt. I think Djokovic has to use the backhand slice and drop shots, ask Medvedev to go big and try and bring Medvedev into the net where he's not at his best and he's not at his most comfortable. I just don't think Djokovic can let him settle on his perch, get into a rhythm and dominate the baseline. I think Djokovic against anybody else in the world would probably back himself to win a baseline battle, especially over a 5-set match, but not against Medvedev. I just think against Medvedev he's like a brick wall. You know, he redirects play so well, he seems to read everything, he has so much time. And even against Djokovic, who I think is one of the best baseline players to ever play the game, I think even, you know, he could even have trouble of beating Medvedev over 5 sets just from rallying from the baseline. I think Djokovic needs to use all his variations, be very clever, mix up his attacks between coming into the net and trying to win points quickly, and also rallying at times, extending the points and trying to gain a mental advantage over Medvedev. I think, again, Djokovic has to try and target the forehand when he's coming in. I think Medvedev's defensive backhand on the slide is arguably as good as Djokovic's, if not better. Some of the stretch backhands that he played today were just quite incredible. Some of the gets that he does and how deep he is in the court and able to find the line. I think Djokovic has to find the forehand, which I don't think is as reliable as his backhand. Djokovic is also serving so well. He's got the experience of winning finals and has produced his best in finals over the years. Medvedev, as I mentioned, his reading of the game and his movement is scarily good. He never seems to be out of position, and he just reads everything, which gives him so much time on the ball to do what he wants with it. He's got to focus on serving well. I think there'll be a lot of long rallies and momentum switches in this match. It could come down to who serves well and who's able to race through the service games and pile pressure on the returner. But Medvedev's got a fantastic first serve, but it does seem to slightly falter when he's under pressure, which could be interesting to see how that unfolds. I think extending rallies has to be the key for Medvedev to win this one. I think he's been consistently better than Djokovic in the longer rallies in this tournament. As I mentioned, 20-0 in recent matches, 12 wins in a row against top 10 players. He's just in the form of his life. And I think for Medvedev, it's just important to not change his style too much. Just keep doing what he's been doing and what's been working for him, and hope that his mind allows him to play the best tennis in the biggest match of his life so far. It's an incredibly tough final to pick. I picked Djokovic pre-tournament, so I sort of have to stick with him now he's got to the final. And I think there's more questions surrounding Medvedev than what there is with Djokovic. So can Medvedev produce his best in the final? We saw him play very well from 2 sets down in the final against Rafa a couple of years ago. He's obviously won Masters titles since then. He's had wins over Djokovic since then. He's got more maturity now and experience. I expect to see a better Medvedev and cope with the pressure better than what he did in that 2019 final. As I mentioned, how will he deal with that pressure of facing Djokovic? 17-time Grand Slam champion, never lost a final. Almost feels like an impossible task to beat Djokovic in Australia. But with the tennis that Medvedev's playing and the recent wins over Djokovic, then I'm sure he'll go into this match full of confidence and believing that he can win. And also, Djokovic has the variations to his game, which Tsitsipas couldn't offer today. Djokovic has the drop shots, he's very comfortable at the net, he has the backhand slice to take the pace off the ball, he's serving incredibly well consistently. So I just think it's going to be a whole new level for Medvedev against Djokovic in the final than what it was against Tsitsipas today, who was pretty flat for the opening couple of sets at least. So I think there's less questions for Djokovic to answer, but Medvedev, I think, could beat Djokovic at his own game, which could frustrate Djokovic at times. I think it's important that Djokovic doesn't think, I'm the king of the baseline, I can extend the rallies and dominate this guy over 5 sets, because I don't think he can. I think Djokovic is the one that has to change up his game, and as I said, use that drop shot, use that slice and mix up between attack and defence at times. But I think Medvedev's the player that can just turn up and produce his A game and back himself to win. I think it's up to Djokovic to adapt his style and find a way of unravelling Medvedev, which is very, very difficult. You could go around in circles with this match and talk about different matchups, the forehand versus Djokovic's forehand versus Medvedev's, and the backhands, whose is better, the serves, but you end up just going around in circles and talking around forever. I think it's best to just sit and watch, enjoy and see who can win the big points and take this 2021 Australian Open final. Can't wait to watch it now. Nervous as a Djokovic fan as ever, but I'm going to predict Djokovic to come through in 4 sets and use all that experience, great serving and variations to just get past Medvedev. I think Medvedev's a hell of a player, and I've got no doubt he's going to be a Grand Slam champion in the future. But I just think Djokovic in Melbourne, it's going to take a special performance from somebody. I think Medvedev's capable as anybody, but I just think Djokovic has done it so many times, produced his best in finals, and it's very, very difficult to see Djokovic losing a final in Australia. But yeah, can't wait for Sunday. Thanks for watching the videos. If you have throughout the tournament, please leave your final predictions in the comments below. Leave a like on the video and subscribe, and I will see you for the final review.